Welcome to my channel. We are Whispers of Light. Since you've made it here, is not by mistake. Today, I want to take some of the ideas and apply them to what's happening right now in the world. Specifically, I wanted to break this video down into different sections. We are talking about information warfare. How do you identify that you're under attack? How is it being used against us? How can we protect ourselves? The mad scramble for our attention is heating up. Every day, millions of websites, social media feeds, and TV channels are vying for our limited time and mental bandwidth. They're fighting for our thoughts. This battle over our minds is not just academic. The future of our democracy hinges on who wins it. If left unchecked, those seeking to rig the game for their own gain will overwhelm us with distraction and division, leaving us unable to make sense of what's happening around us. We need to know how to spot the tricks being used against us and how to counter them. The good news is that the battle for our thoughts is far from over. How do you even identify it? Well, there are a few key characteristics that you should look out for that indicate that you might be dealing with some sort of information warfare. Suddenly, it feels like your feed has been flooded with an overwhelming amount of emotionally charged or even divisive content. You might notice it feels like no matter what you log on to, whether it's Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, it seems like there's an endless stream of hot takes on whatever it is that's happening. But the problem is that these articles or posts don't seem to be adding to the conversation. They're just yelling the same thing at each other. And this kind of content tends to spread like wildfire because it relies on stirring up emotions like fear, anger, outrage, rather than presenting a well-reasoned argument. You might notice that the coverage of an event or issue from different sources is either inconsistent or even contradictory. It's like everyone is reporting on the same thing, but with wildly different perspectives. For example, you might see two articles covering the same protest, one calling it a quiet demonstration and the other calling it a violent riot. But the problem here is that nobody is providing any evidence to back up their claims. They're just stating these things as facts. You might notice the use of extreme language, fear tactics, or moral outrage to push a message. This is also known as toxic framing. It's when writers hype up their articles with attention-grabbing headlines or social media users post inflammatory comments just to get a rise out of people. Again, the goal here is to manipulate your emotions and bypass your critical thinking skills. You might notice that there's a coordinated repetition of the same talking points across multiple sources. Now, this could be a sign of a real conspiracy, but it could also just be a coincidence. The key is to look for patterns and ask questions. Are too many articles saying the same thing without providing any evidence? Are commentators repeating talking points that have been debunked as false? If so, you might be dealing with a propaganda campaign. Misinformation can sneak into content that seems totally true. Remember, not everyone shares false info on purpose. Sometimes, people just pass along stuff without double-checking. But if you spot certain sources consistently spreading lies that clash with common sense or expert advice, it might be a deliberate effort to sway your views. Stay sharp. You might notice that the sources you're seeing rely on anonymous or unverifiable sources. Anonymous sources are often used to give credibility to a story, but they can also be used to spread misinformation. If you notice that a lot of the sources you're seeing are relying on anonymous sources, it might be a red flag. The content you're seeing is designed to provoke a quick reaction rather than careful thought. This type of content is often emotionally charged and highly manipulative. It aims to bypass critical thinking and instead relies on gut instincts and emotional responses. And finally, you might notice that the content you're seeing consists of memes. Short clips or slogans that are easy to repeat for viral impact but lack depth or explanation. Exactly. Now that you know how to identify information warfare, the next question is, how is it being used against us? Well, there are a number of ways that information warfare is being used against us. First, it's being used to divide and polarize us. By spreading messages that appeal to our emotions and biases, information warfare can create hostility between groups of people. This can make it difficult to find common ground and work together to solve problems. It's a way of splitting a community into us versus them so that nobody can unite with everybody else to go after the common enemy. It's being used to shape our perception of reality. Instead of outright censoring information, information warfare often involves framing events or issues in a certain way. This can make it difficult to see the full picture and can lead to misunderstandings. By controlling the narrative, those who engage in information warfare can shape how we think about the world. It's being used to distract us by spreading sensational stories and focusing our attention on trivial matters. Information warfare can divert our attention away from more important issues. This can make it difficult to stay informed and engaged on the issues that really matter. We are being manipulated psychologically. By appealing to our fears, hopes, or prejudices, information warfare can influence our decision-making process. This can make it difficult to think rationally and objectively. It's being used to erode our trust in information sources. By spreading misinformation and making us question the accuracy of information warfare can leave us feeling uncertain and confused. When we lose trust in the information sources, we give up on trying to find the truth and become more susceptible to manipulation. It's being used to control the narrative. By shaping how events or issues are reported, information warfare can influence how we perceive them. This can make it difficult to get the full story and can lead to misunderstandings. Controlling the narrative is a way of shaping public opinion and swaying people to a certain point of view. It's being used to overload us. By bombarding us with so much information warfare can make it difficult to sort through and determine what is true. When we're overwhelmed with information, we become more likely to shut down and stop thinking critically. It's being used by algorithms. Social media algorithms are designed to keep us on their platforms for as long as possible. To do this, they show us content that they think we'll be interested in based on our previous activity. The problem is that the algorithm doesn't care whether the content is true or false. It only cares about keeping us on the platform. This means that we're more likely to see content that confirms our existing biases and makes us more angry or outraged. So now that you know how information warfare is being used against us, the next question is, how can you protect yourself? There are a number of things you can do to protect yourself from falling victim to information warfare. Now, 1. Cross-check claims with multiple independent sources before believing or sharing them. Don't just take everything you see at face value. Check to see if other reputable sources are reporting the same thing. Pause before reacting. Take a moment to think before you react emotionally to a headline or post. Ask yourself, is this really true? Is this helpful to share? Learn basic fact-checking tools and reverse image search. There are a number of great resources available to help you fact-check information warfare. One great tool is a site which allows you to search for images in reverse. This can help you determine if an image has been manipulated or taken out of context. Another great tool is a website where you can submit a URL and have it analyzed for bias. Follow experts with proven track records over influencers chasing engagement. Experts are more likely to be accurate and unbiased than those who are just trying to get views. Diversify your news intake. Don't get all of your information from one platform or ideology. This will help you get a more balanced perspective on events. Limit your exposure to doom scrolling and emotional clickbait. Doom scrolling can lead to a sense of helplessness and emotional burnout. Ask who benefits if I believe or share this. If you're not sure if something is true, ask yourself who benefits from you believing it. This can help you determine if you're being manipulated. Strengthen your digital literacy. Understand how algorithms, bots, and propaganda work. This will help you spot and protect yourself from being targeted. These are just a few things that you can do to protect yourself from falling victim to information warfare. By being aware of the tactics that are being used against us, we can better protect ourselves and our democracy. So hopefully this video was helpful in giving you some tools to be able to spot and recognize how it's being used against us and how you can better protect yourself. I'm curious, did anything surprise you in this video? Or maybe you have some ideas of your own that you want to share. Either way, I would love to hear from you in the comments below. If you feel like you are being guided down the wrong path, you probably are. I just want to quickly say thank you to our supporters for making this video possible. Thank you for watching and please join us again. I also want to remind you that if you haven't already, please consider supporting us. Finally, if you enjoyed this video, please smack the like button and share it with your friends.